How you doing everyone? Juan Romero here from SwitchWatch, and this is my HYPERCHARGE Unboxed review. I want to big up Jason for helping me here. Well, we got the team involved because this game is best played with other players. So if you want to read the review as well, just visit switchwatch.co.uk. Now, when you were a kid, did you ever play with your toys and thought what would happen if they came to life? I know the film Toy Story explored this to a certain extent, but when I was small, I used to play with small soldiers, spin tops and boglins, those weird looking heads that you could control with your hands, all brought to life in this very game. This is a realization somewhat of my imagination when I was a boy, so for me it's somewhat nostalgic. I try to take nostalgia out of the equation when reviewing a game because, like love, it's a very powerful emotion and can often blind you to the obvious faults, but I can't deny that I raised a smile every time a toy attacked us that I played with as a child. Now here we have an FPS shooter where you can play co-op with a friend to fight off the hordes of enemies with each wave, and well, it's not going to win any awards for the story here. You'll have to use your imagination like I did, but in terms of gameplay, this is certainly best played with friends either locally or online, where 4 of you can play as a team, or you can even play PvP in a deathmatch if you so desire, where up to 8 of you can play. And of course you can hook up with some randomers online and play with other people, which again is a great option to have. There is single player mode, but being completely honest, this does become rather stale too quickly, and the levels aren't really designed for you to play on your own, and I'll get into that in a second. This is one for you to pick up with you and your friends willing to do the same, or as I say, play with people online. Now, I was surprised at the exploration element, quite a key part in this game. In between the waves, you have a timer which counts down, and you can explore to your heart's content, finding all sorts of goodies, upgrades and weapons, coins and secret collectibles, which made this even more fun than I was expecting. It breaks up the game a little bit rather than just shooting wave after wave of enemies like in some games. You're a little toy soldier here, so a room in a house becomes a massive playground for you to explore, and I love the variety of rooms like the bathrooms, bedrooms and even a toy store with all sorts of nooks and crannies to get lost in. Jumping from platform to platform, higher up shelves, and falling in the toilet was not my greatest moment, however. Within the levels, you quite simply need to protect the hypercore systems dotted around the map. Enemies will target these, but you can't be everywhere at once, hence why this is better playing with more people. That build mode between waves is essential to set up defenses such as walls, explosive traps to blow up all the toy robots which try and ruin your day, and those spin tops, my goodness, they are there to hurt you. Coins are used to build better defenses, so it is essential you collect as many of these when enemies are destroyed, or just the coins that are floating around the map. As you progress, better defenses become available and more imaginative traps. The enemies for me though are the stars of the show, each with their own challenge to overcome. You see those little green toy soldiers coming at you with tanks, parachuting from planes. It really brings out the kid in you, and I loved seeing these toys alive, so to speak. The key is to make sure each zone of the level is covered by traps and one of your teammates, so that these toys don't get to the hypercore system. So it's essential also that you recharge the towers between waves with batteries. Now, testing split screen, I found that it ran okay at times. A little slowdown would show up, but nothing which ruined the experience. So locally the game works quite well. Massive thanks to our friends at Contra Network to help us test split screen as well. Online worked really well. I was really quite impressed, and I'm glad that this small indie team persevered to include this, as it certainly adds a hell of a lot of value. Other modes are included, such as the team deathmatch, which is a cool distraction to working your way through the game stages with a friend and unlocking all the different traps and skins. There is that deathmatch mode too, and plague mode, which was rather fun but not my favourite mode by any means. After finishing a stage, the game does a great job of presenting the players with some entertaining accolades for some healthy banter and bragging rights between you. Finishing stages with high rankings as well as collecting hidden items will help you unlock those skins and items where you can upgrade your guns. This just added so much more to the experience, and well, each game was more unique than we anticipated. Who had the worst accuracy was usually me, by the way. As with many FPS games, the parts where jumping is involved can be rather hit and miss in terms of judging the distances, and sometimes when you reach the secrets you have to jump on ledges which are very thin indeed and hard to judge, leading you to falling a lot. It can lead to a little bit of frustration as the controls are tight but not quite tight enough for these types of jumps in my view. And well, that hindered it slightly. Aiming and shooting feels good enough, and with our time with it, it was certainly fun, and for those of you that like gyro controls, it was certainly welcome here. But getting through each new level was especially good with a friend. The enemy waves do get harder and more varied, but for us it became a little bit repetitive. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more, but otherwise the gameplay department is a very solid effort and have you glued for hours, which is the biggest compliment I can give this type of game. Visually, the SwitchWatch team and I were rather impressed with the visuals of HYPERCHARGE Unboxed. The backgrounds look like there's toys everywhere and stuff a normal household would have about. I love the little details. When I first tried that bedroom, half-eaten food was left at the computer, a bed unmade and shelves full of cool stuff I wouldn't mind having myself, and it's certainly varied and interesting in terms of the environments. It looks massive and is so odd seeing it through a little toy's perspective, but that's the point. It's implemented very well indeed. Design of the various toys are all pretty amazing. It really helps to immerse you in a world that's both real and fantastical. Seeing a plane dropping those toy soldiers on parachutes was a sight to behold the first time I saw it, and as I said, falling in the toilet, not my greatest moment. But it's this attention to detail which brings the game to life and impressive for such a small indie team. Playing it in handheld mode was fine, no problems there either, and for the most part the game performs really well, but it does stutter a little bit in split screen. Other than that, it runs solid frame rate and looks great in the process. In terms of the audio, the music and sound effects in HYPERCHARGE Unboxed are pretty good. Each stage has its own unique music that fits the atmosphere, and the final wave music turns it up a notch, makes you feel like you're having even more of an epic time. And I really do like the sound of the weapons. I think that the devs did a great job here, but what's missing for me is an audio chat client. It would have been really great, seeing as the focus is on multiplayer, to be able to chat to your friends online, and sadly that's missing right now. In terms of value, well, it's always very subjective. The game is £19.99 in the UK, $19.99 in the US, but we did find it to be fun. However, it's an experience that needs a little bit more depth to keep you coming back for more and more. This is only worth it if you have somebodies to play with, and if you don't mind playing with people online that you maybe don't know. From front to back, HYPERCHARGE Unboxed is solid. Unfortunately, those looking for a solo experience will need to look elsewhere though. Although it does have a single player experience, it does become a little bit impossible after a couple of stages to clear it all alone. That's why the value of this game depends really if you desire a multiplayer experience or not. If so, then it's definitely worth getting, and we definitely recommend checking this out. So on to my verdict. Before I get onto that, if you're a new watcher here, why not consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification if you've enjoyed this video? Well, you need a reason to subscribe? Let me tell you some. We do bargain videos every Sunday that go live at around 7 PM, and you can win $10 every week just by letting us know what your pick of the week would be. Every Monday we let you know every new physical that's about to drop on the Nintendo Switch. Need more reasons to subscribe? We're giving away a Nintendo Switch Lite when we hit 50,000 subscribers. We're all about giving back to the community here, so do yourselves a favour, hit that sub button and bell notification, and let's talk about this verdict. HYPERCHARGE Unboxed is certainly a unique game, and one which is superb fun with friends. If you enjoy blasting away in multiplayer first-person shooters, then this is certainly for you. It's a pretty beautiful looking game with a great soundtrack and loads of stuff to do and unlock. The only sort of downfall here that you can't chat to each other online, although there are basic voice commands that you can activate, and the other is that you don't really want to fly solo on this one. We cannot stress enough that HYPERCHARGE Unboxed is absolutely at its best as a multiplayer experience, and a very solid 8 out of 10. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, hit that thumbs up button, we'd really appreciate that, and leave us a comment down below letting us know your thoughts on this game or any other game for that matter. We love getting involved in discussions with you. And lastly, before we go, if you want to read about this as a written review, head on over to www.switchwatch.co.uk. There's a lot of reviews over there that we don't have time to convert into video, so well worth your time checking out. Lastly, I'll put up some videos now that you can check out, as I was saying earlier, some of our bargain videos and our physical releases that comes out every week. Hope you enjoy, ladies and gentlemen. Look forward to seeing you very soon. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.